this is Arc'teryx Veilance Spere techwool suit, if you want to call it a suit. It is again a collection of blazer and pants, and it's interesting because in this they followed their spear cut, which is boxier and roomier and wider, and actually very comfortable. But for fall-winter 22-23 this came out in techwool. Techwool Veilance has been, well, throwing their hat into the ring with quite a few pieces up, down, how do you want to call it, to the long coat, which is a highly peculiar piece. It's also been strange because they, as usual, had marketing copy saying, ooh, the look and feel of wool, and well, if this is the look and feel of wool, you haven't seen wool yet. It is, well, some people said quite polyestery, but no, it's not that. I actually do find it much more comfortable than that. I do think that the look is pretty interesting. It does have a bit of a woven wool-like look, but it is certainly, you can hear it probably even, a stronger material again. It is certainly not the Haddon blazers, worsted, felted wool type look and feel. It is not the Haddon LT super soft merino that is, well, surprisingly durable it seems, but really soft, very much for the summer. It is techwool that only has a bit of a wool content. It's a really strange thing in that regard, but I went out with it quite a bit. I've pretty much lived in it when I traveled to Florence, finally with the wife and the baby and the dog. And it was raining all the time. I had an undershirt, a shirt and the blazer, and it worked beautifully. The stealth cap and, well, a scarf did help, but it was warm enough. I was actually pretty comfortable in it on the train traveling to Italy. It is a bit strange. Your mileage may vary as usual. It does all feel like it could get clammy if you are someone who sweats quite a bit, quite easily, and who gets too warm. You definitely have to find the right variation of things. You need something underneath it because this is not anything insulated, so just with a shirt underneath it would get quite cool. So be good for transitional times, but not for winter. But of course winter needs a coat over something like this anyways. At the same time, with something warmer, a little bit more underneath, it is pretty nice. I really like, again, as with the Spere LT for the summer, which has been also Spere, also boxier roomier, but Teredex, that it is cut a bit roomier. Apparently the Indisa blazer will come out with a pant maybe, so maybe an Indisa suit, not in Infinium for the winter and fall, but for spring summer in techwool as well. This does sound very interesting, but I actually very much appreciate that we now also have an option where the lapels are shorter, where the cutout is not so low, so that this is a boxier, roomier look. I did need the size S in this, and as you can tell it is quite roomy enough for me. But still, the 3 snap buttons are very nice. It's 3 buttons, not just 2, so it protects a bit more. So it does not have anything for fastening the collar pieces, the lapels rather, together, but you could still wear it collar up. And it just stays up by itself. You don't need anything there, any snap closure, anything hidden. It actually almost stays closed better than the other blazers that have the lower lapels that do lock together a bit. So, yeah, it has performed well. I really actually like it. You do have to get used to it. There are a few things which are special as usual. So the cut, the workmanship is fine as usual. One issue that you need to be aware of, like I said, is the material, look and feel of wool. Well, look, maybe somewhat, feel definitely not so much. It is a strong material and not very wool-like. You will recognize it for the polyester content, but that gives it its water repellency and its windproofness, and that is pretty good. One thing to definitely be aware of though is the material could be loud. If you walk like that, it wouldn't be good for you. I don't do that. I have not seen an issue with that. I like this even with a shirt, with a tie, with the low lapels. You do have to know that, as usual, a blazer is not ideal for doing too many movements. And this one especially is a bit peculiar because it just uses snap buttons. Meaning, of course, that, as you noticed, you can just reach for something and open the snap button. Inhale deeply. Try to stretch it. Well, not quite, but yeah, you can break it open easily. This is the one thing that I find really peculiar, especially because the hand uses a slide and lock Cobra button. So yeah, I don't know why they didn't use that here. You have two pockets in front, the usual way, quite vertical, so don't put anything too important in there or it will probably fall off. For important things though, you do have, as usual, a small wallet pocket on the right, another pocket on the left. I'm wondering, they are actually the same size, at least the zippers. Oops, I never noticed. That's not the usual, but okay. They sort of work for a normal sized, larger sized smartphone. I now have the Google Pixel 7 Pro. That does not work in there quite easily. It sort of works, but a passport has worked for sure. So yeah, nice and all pretty much the usual. It is a simple, clean look as usual and as I like it and expect it from Veilance. The pants are something to rather talk about a bit more, because here they have gone for a really peculiar thing, because like I said, they close with a slide buckle, and as you might notice, there are no belt loops. Looky here. There's a bit of a stretch material around, and then you have a fastening with a draw cord inside. So you tighten the draw cord left and right to the length that you want this to be. Then you just close it and there you are. It stays like that. You do not wear a buckle, a belt rather. That's it. The fly is pretty deep, which is very nice. You can actually reach inside. You don't have to take the pants off a bit to pee. This must sound very strange for me to mention it, but I had at least one pair of pants where the zipper is so short that you have to undo the whole pants to be able to pee, and I hated it. I'm pretty sure those were some cheaper pants which I threw away. Those pants, funnily, they feel, I don't know, they do feel a bit rough as well, the material, but you do not notice the seam tape as much, if there even is seam tape, I'm wondering now, or the inner. It is, to me at least, not so clammy feeling or anything as the seam tape on, for example, the Head LT pants and their merino. This is very peculiar, since you would expect a merino to feel better, but in my opinion this is good. It's nicely protective. I am sounding a bit hesitant because I have read some opinions where people said, nah, they felt like a plastic bag to me, they were so clammy. I can't say that, but of course I would go out into rather cooler conditions with that. Probably not anything where it gets too warm where I'm really threatening to sweat. But the travels with the baby, with the dog, with the wife, with the baby buggy and everything was pretty okay, and I'm pretty sure I did break a sweat there sometimes because wow, there was a lot to organize. But then I was traveling to Florence, and in Florence looking like that, like a man in a suit with a Gucci scarf and a stealth cap, and I appreciated it. A look that is a bit, yeah, classier. The pants, you have two simple pockets at the ass in the back, just sliding in on the right side and the left side. You also have two simple pockets. They are not a peculiar style. I do really like the ones that have a flap over it in the back from Veilance, but they are easy enough, cool enough. Again, if you are going to sit around, don't put anything too valuable even into those pockets on the pants. Some loose change will slide out and be gone. So you do have to be careful here. Better to bring some shoulder bag or something like that for most of your gear. But, well, those are not cargo pants. This is certainly not the look which should get cargo-like. But all in all, in spite of some of the negative opinions people have been having, I liked it. Well, I do have to, full disclosure, mention that this for once is a sponsored piece from Arc'teryx. A marketing guy of theirs actually said that he wanted me to get those, to talk about them. I have to admit I did appreciate it. Honestly, I think if I had bought it, well, it would have of course cost me a fair bit, but I think then I would have liked it at least as much, if not more, because it was my own money invested in it. I thought honestly about getting the same two pieces in the forage color as well. I might still, if they ever become a bit cheaper. As you could see at the beginning, I now have an open wardrobe-like piece for just my blazers, and they are pretty much all except for one Veilance blazers, and I really love it. This is still the style that I subscribe to, blazers which are more minimalistic even than blazers tend to be, but have special technical touches, technical materials for performance, for not having to be afraid of going into rain with something like that, not always needing a coat or a jacket or something that fits over it. I still enjoy these things a whole lot.